So I'm redoing my review for It 2017, and here's a few reasons why. So, the original video was really my first time ever doing a voice recording for a video, so it didn't sound good. I could do a lot better, and I'm going to, really, right now. So, let's hope I don't lie about that. So, let's start off by saying, this new movie it's such a good movie. I have never seen any of the older stuff. I haven't read the books, and I haven't read any Stephen King books. So, I don't... At the time, I didn't know anything, really, about the movie. So, going into it, I didn't really know much. All I knew was the basic premise, which is that every 27 years, a monster comes out of the sewers and kills children. I mean, adults too, I suppose, but obviously prefers kids. So, I mean, interesting premise, and it's with a clown named Pennywise, the dancing clown, which obviously, you know, if you're gonna have a clown, might as well have him dance too. Spoiler alert, he only dances like once in the movie. So, Pennywise being played by Bill Skarsgård, which is my first time ever seeing him in any sort of role, and I was incredibly impressed. The guy did such a wonderful job as Pennywise. He made it creepy while also making it incredibly fun to actually see the character on the screen. A lot of horror movies that have like one central
soldier down.
A horror character for the movie, they don't really make the character fun to see, with the exception of like Freddy Krueger. But this Pennywise was so well done, very animated in his movements, real creepy. I liked his voice more than Tim Curry, I think his name is, and it was very well done. I would recommend looking up on YouTube stuff about his performance, because it's really interesting. But for the child actors, I'll go through them right now. We had Finn Wolfhard as Richie, who you probably know from Stranger Things. Then you have Sophia Lillis as Beverly. You got Jaden Lieberner. I don't know how to say his last name. He was Bill, like the main one out of the group. Jack Dylan Grazer is Eddie. He stood out the most to me for the kids. I thought he did the best job, to be honest. His character was fairly entertaining for what his character was. Then you have Wyatt Oliff as Stanley, and Chosen Jacobs as Mike. And then, you know, for Georgie, there's Jackson, Robert Scott. So, I mean, that's the main cast there, and everyone did a really good job. With kids in movies, you really don't get the greatest performance from them, and I was incredibly impressed with these kids. Super professional, and you really they feel like kids. Like, not kids that are acting as kids, but just kids. So that was a really good job. Um, the start of the movie is essentially what you see from the trailer, where Georgie just made this paper boat, and he's like sailing it through the rain water. It goes down into the sewers, and this is where we first meet Pennywise. Very well done scene. And spoiler alert, Georgie doesn't really come out of the scene intact, because he gets his arm torn off. Get it? Intact. Yeah. So it was a fairly shocking scene, because I've never seen anything, I've never seen a movie where they really do that to a kid. Mostly it's probably just like, fuck, I don't know. They just, they make you think something happened. I can't remember what it's called, because I'm good at, I'm good at this. It was really shocking. So, I went with my friend, his sister, and his dad. And the movie, I will tell you, it was really fun seeing it in the theater. But the problem with theaters is the volume is cranked up to 10,000. So when it would become a scene for where they're building the intensity, the music would gradually get higher to the point where, you know, you're supposed to be scared. And I hated that so much, purely because of how loud they had the volume in the theater. It was so incredibly loud that I had come home with a just throbbing headache. So it could have done without that, preferably. But the movie itself was very good. I thought the pacing was done pretty well. It was shot real well. It looked high budget, which it probably was. I don't know how much the movie cost.
Warfighter, KIA.
It was a 2-hour, 15-minute film. No, it had a budget of $35 million.
Nomad down.
So, yeah, it was a fairly high-budget movie, which it shows. It really does show. It looks like a AAA film, and the CGI was very well done. There's a lot of parts in the movie where apparently it's CGI, the background and all that, but you really can't tell. So they did a great job with that. Like I said, the acting was phenomenal. The setting was, I mean, it was as it should be. What else can I say? I always love the whole aesthetic of the 80s. It's based in I think 1988. So, I mean, there's that. If you're a fan of the 80s, there you go. This is a fucking 5-star review right now. I don't even know where I am. Okay, so there's these moments in the movie where the parents are completely oblivious, really, to what's going on, and only the kids can really tell what's happening, which is interesting, because I guess it has, I guess, some sort of like soft control over all the parents, so that they're oblivious to this stuff. And So, God, I hate the Xbox editor so much. I'm recording this on Xbox. If that wasn't noticeable, it's really bad. The parents are completely oblivious to what's going on. There's a scene where Beverly is in the bathroom and she hears like voices from the sink and goes to check out the sink. Blood spews out of the sink. It reminded me of that scene from one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I can't remember which one, but where all the blood shoots like fountains out of the bed onto the ceiling. Very reminiscent of that. So the blood covers Beverly and the bathroom. And then her dad comes in, and there's blood everywhere. She's covered in it. He has no idea, as if she's just sitting there losing her mind. And it's interesting. The entity that is it feeds off of the fear of these kids, and essentially all of his power comes from fear. So we see that come into play near the end of the movie. He plays off the fears of all these kids, which they show throughout the movie, like with Stanley and the lady in the painting. He plays with that fear quite a bit, and that painting lady was absolutely terrifying. I would be scared shitless of that too, to be honest. And then Beverly has a fear of her dad for obvious reasons. I think Richie is just scared of clowns, period. And Bill has a fear of Georgie. So Pennywise plays with Georgie a lot. And there's a scene that they show in the trailer, which honestly I kind of wish that they wouldn't have shown in the trailer, because this was the scariest part of the film. But Bill comes down into the basement, and it's all flooded, and he sees Georgie there, and he's talking with Georgie, and then he starts the whole "you'll float too" bullshit, and it builds the intensity while Pennywise slowly raises from the water and then goes into a full freak-out sprint, and it scared the shit out of me. The movie, when it was at those moments for you to be scared, it did it really well. It made the movie scary.
They're gone.
And it wasn't constantly horror. It wasn't constantly a horror movie. There were quite a few parts where it was funny, actually, and which surprised me. I never expected to go into the movie and actually laugh. So they did a good job with that. They had solid tones throughout the movie, and it headed in a direction that, I mean, you could kind of see coming. It's a horror movie, so you could see what was going to happen, but it was all well done. They left it open for a sequel. When you actually get to the credits, it'll show the title of the movie, and then it fades in chapter 1. So they're planning on doing a sequel, obviously, and I'm a advocate for that. I loved this movie with all of my heart if I could get more cliche. And honestly, I love this movie so much that it's at the obsession point. I just can't say it enough. Bill Skarsgård did a phenomenal job as Pennywise. So, please, if you're watching this, for one, why? I mean, you could just watch, like, Angry Joe. He does a lot better than reviews than some jackass like me that you've never heard of. So, yeah, just go see this movie. My ratings, they start at a 5 for a movie, and I'm gonna probably do ratings for video games too. Like, I'm planning on doing one for Destiny 2 here in a little while. I mean, I gotta play it and get it first. But yeah, I mean, it starts at a 5, just a base 5. That's the middle ground, and then it goes up or it goes down, depending on, you know, the movie, obviously. So, this movie, I loved it so much. I would give it a very hard 9. With the definite of going to see this movie. I highly recommend it. I mean, you won't be disappointed, honestly. It's a good use of money. If America works the way it does, this movie should get as much money as it fucking deserves. So, yeah. That's really all I can say without repeating myself too much. I'm bad at movie reviews, if you didn't pick up on that. So, I have been Rage, and this was my review for it. 9 out of 10. Please go see this movie.